It's the weekend, so I'm not going to be too serious, although we have to touch on some serious stuff, don't we? But a story that amused me is the Mayor of Cork in Ireland. Cork, lovely place. I've been to Cork on a cruise. In fact, we went around the British Isles and we called it Cork, Belfast and Dublin and other places in the British Isles. But when we were in Belfast, actually, my feet flared up with like real bad pain and I couldn't walk, and we ended up sitting down outside in a cafe. Lovely city. And I said, oh God, Dave, my feet are killing me. And I looked, it was like divine intervention. Right outside was a shoal shop, you know, for shoes and stuff. I said, I'm going to go in there, see if they can help me. So I went in. I love the Irish. I am Irish descent. Liverpool Irish on my mother's side years ago. And I went in this shop. She said, yes, can I help you? I said, yeah, I've got really bad foot pain. I'm on a cruise. I can't even walk back to the ship. I'm going to, oh, but Jesus, it's the city yourself down. Let's have a look at your tootsies. So I take my shoes off and she puts me on a perspex thing with a light underneath it. She says, oh, but Jesus, your arches are as flat as a fart, love. I don't know how you're managing to walk at all. And I went, what do you mean? She said, your arches have flopped. Well, I didn't know I had fallen arches. It must have been coming on for a bit. Anyway, she sold me these. I liked her attitude though. My tootsies. Flat as a fart. She was salesperson saying that to me. Anyway, so she sold me these insoles, like half heel insole. I put them in, it was euphoric. The pain disappeared straight away. I could have kissed her. She said, "It'll be all right now. You need a pair. You need to put them in your shoes all the time till the pain clears up, and watch what you're doing in the future. Get yourself some arch support shoes." Anyway, I looked on those. I looked like something. Well, they were ugly shoes. You wouldn't want them. Anyway, back to the story. So the Mayor of Cork. Cork was a very nice city. He stood there like a mayor, suit on, chain, like a mayor, with all these naked people on these steps outside town, all naked with body paint on. Nothing else much apart from wigs and silly stuff. One woman there next to him, she's big lass. She's got her mangoes out, you know. They're really long and low. I mean, if they get any lower, she'd have to have them buggers sold and healed. And she's got some sort of like tassely things on them, and there ain't a minge hair in sight. Nobody's got any pubic hair. They're all stood there, all sorts of shapes and sizes. Trust me, it's no beauty pageant. And he stood with them. So when I got the photograph at first, June, what do you think of this? I said, are you sure that ain't Photoshop? You know, a mayor stood there with all these crazies. No, it's not Photoshopped, it's genuine. It's about road safety. Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thunk that? It's about road safety. Apparently, if you get your kit off and your mangoes out and show your minge to the world, it's safer on the roads. These are a bunch of cyclists. They've been doing it since 2014 or 2004 to make awareness of safety for cyclists on the road. Just don't ride two abreast. Just put your bloody lights on. Make it more, make yourself more apparent. And stop thinking we're always going to see you when you're undertaking on inside. We don't always see you. That'll do for me. You don't have to go naked getting all your stuff out. And there's one bloke there that looks like he had a travel kettle on end of his willy. He had something tied on end of it, like dragging it down. I mean, like a little pot or something. You know, like an objet d'art. We're bonkers, aren't we? There's some sets of society that are just, they've lost it for me. And then you get Angela Rayner, our Home Secretary. Our Home Secretary in this country decides to go on road to Ibiza, and she's in Ibiza, and she's getting on down with the kids. You move it all out, move it. I don't want to see my Deputy Prime Minister, my Home Secretary doing that, do you? I want to think she's concentrating on country. You've only just took the reins over and you've all buggered off on holiday. I don't want to see that. I think you should have all forfeited your holiday if you just entered a new government at a time like this. You can see we're going to hell in a handcart. Why can't you stay and do something about it? Oh no, it's really important because they've had a really hard month. Oh, have you had a hard month? Try looking at my message box. I'll show you what a hard month's like with what some people are going through, especially with after effects of joining in the rollout, or for the fact that they've lost a business during lockdown, or the fact they couldn't see the loved ones and they had to bury them over a Zoom call, a FaceTime, say the last goodbyes over Face. I'll show you what a hard time is, sweetheart. You haven't had a hard time. You're having a ball. You've become the most important you'll ever be in the entire existence of your life. And as I've said before, Starmer, whatever you think of him, is at his most popular now. It's that way for him, that way. There's no that he can't go up because he's not going to do anything. It's going to make him go up. It's that way for him. So what we have to make sure is the next time there's an election, we haven't got any of these sleeper cells that don't turn out. No, you turn out next time. What we've got to look at is if Reform Party were second in 98 constituencies, then if those that have been apathetic and not voted, because obviously the ones that didn't vote were displeased with both parties. But if they'd got out and voted, how many seats would we have had? First time out in a few weeks. Reform could have had potentially 103 seats. That would have made a hell of a difference. So we have to make sure it makes a hell of a difference next time. I'm not keen on Reform as a party. I don't think they make all the right decisions, but I don't care, because if you're in a battle, you've got to fight with the soldiers who turn up to fight. You can't pick your own, can you? And Reform have turned up to fight, and that's why a lot of councillors are now defecting from the Conservative Party to Reform. It's not just about general elections, it's about what we can do in the council elections, is to get more people who say what we're thinking. We are definitely, we're minoritised in our thoughts. We are the majority of the country, but we're not allowed to speak about it and talk about it. Anything to do with conservatism and rejecting in unsuitable immigration, which it is. So brings me on to another point, Copthorne hotels. Interesting one, this. Copthorne hotels currently have a lot of empty bedrooms. They were taken over by a business in Singapore. The same business, if you Google it, you can find out who owns it and who's bought it and when they sold it on. But it happens to be right now that the same business that owns Copthorne hotels also owns all the hotels in New York City that are now occupied by migrants. Now the thing is, we've heard that from a civil servant that our government are paying for 5,000 empty beds every single night at £80 per bed per night, which is £400,000 a night. The government is paying that for empty beds, just in case we have an influx of migrants. It seems strange, doesn't it, that Copthorne, owned by the same business model that owns the ones in New York, has a lot of empty beds at the moment. Just throwing it out there, maybe somebody can do some investigating and find out more. I just thought it was quite interesting. And as we know, people who have put some very bad tweets out and very bad Facebook posts have been arrested, denied bail and sent on remand. One guy's even on remand until February. This is a veteran, a decorated veteran. He's on remand currently for a video he put out. He didn't go to any demonstration, he put a video on his Facebook page and he's on remand. I'm reminding you of these circumstances until February. Another woman who put some distasteful stuff on her Twitter feed. She's a young mum, no criminal records these aren't criminals, they haven't done anything else, they haven't attacked anyone, no knife crime, no acid attacks, nothing. They've just said something really unsuitable on social media that they actually deleted. Now she's also on remand for about 6 weeks, so her child now has no mother to look after her because apparently it was so terrible what she said in a tweet that she took down later. And yet the man who was stood with a megaphone in London asking for other people's throats to be cut from the far right, he's still on bail. He isn't even being tried yet. He's still a free man. I need to understand this. This is why I'm asking on here. How come? Because I see that as just as vile as anything. Because this was an instruction. It was a widely shared video on social media, asking for, with a death threat basically. Why was he not denied bail? Why isn't he thought of as a Labour councillor? Actually, he's a Labour. They've asked him to stand down from the position temporarily, but he's still walking about waiting to be tried. They still haven't tried the two that attacked the policewoman and broke her nose at Manchester Airport. And then they wonder why people suspect two-tier policing. I'm just putting it out there because I think it's incredible that some people are denied bail for the written word and other people are just treated in the normal way. And you know, the Notting Hill Carnival, 2 have died. One woman's injuries before she died were so bad she had to have a hysterectomy and amputate her leg. And they did that to her in front of a 3-year-old child. They didn't amputate the leg, that was surgery later. But the attack was so vicious that she ended up having a hysterectomy, losing a leg and subsequently dying. And not one word has been said by the government, the Home Secretary, Keir Starmer, the Met Police. Nobody's come out, no left-wing commentators have come out and been outraged about it. There's videos of them, they call it twerking, I would call it dry humping, because they're basically doing the sex act without taking the clothes off. All over the place. It's debaucherous. Somebody said it's like Sodom and Gomorrah. And, you know, it used to be that the Notting Hill Carnival was all these fantastic troupes of dancers in fantastic costumes. It's only part of it now. And we've got this two-tier policing. So the thing is, life goes on and it has to go on. And it's important that we handle it. We read what's going on and don't, you know, it's not self-flagellation finding out what's going wrong with the world. You need to compartmentalise what you're doing and remember you have a life to live. You are entitled to live it the best way you can. And the best way you can is by putting you and your family first. And if that means keeping away from the fight, then that's what you have to do. You don't have to join in. As long as you're aware of what's going on, because the day may come when we all have to join in, I don't know. But the best way to get through this is to make yourself aware of all these things that are happening and apply some common sense to your own life. Don't waste your money on frivolous stuff. You might need it sooner than you think. Try and consolidate what you're doing. Just be sensible for a few months. Just let things unfold, see what happens. And never forget, there's always room for comedy. There's plenty of comedians out there. They've all got reels. They've all got Facebook and Twitter accounts. You know, Sarah Millican. Well, I particularly like Sarah Millican because I think she's a bit raucous when she's live. And I know she's a bit of a lefty. I don't hold it against her because she's a comedian. But try and get some enjoyment out your day because it's really important. You know, you don't want to be stressing on a subject because you don't know what's around the corner for yourself. You don't know what things are going to happen to you in your own personal life. So it's better to be aware and equipped, but enjoying it anyway.